Hello, my friends. Mother's Day is this weekend, so I thought that I would talk a little bit about the complicated relationship that I have with my own mother and how I've navigated that in my inner work and as my life as a practitioner. The relationship that I have with my mom is so complicated. It's many years of compounded traumas and unresolved issues, different relationships that she has been in that have affected me a lot. And my perspective for a really long time was very angry and very hateful towards her, and I carried an immense amount of resentment towards her for the majority of my life. Right before I had my own child, I did a women's sweat lodge that was intended to be a mother wound lodge, and it was very, very impactful for me. I come from a long line of wounded women with a lot of trauma, a lot of teen mothers, a lot of people who just really struggled. And I knew from that sweat lodge that I would be a continuation of that if I did not address some of the stuff with my own mother. And at that time, I think I had been no contact with her for 4 years. And so it was a pretty stressful lodge to get that message from my ancestors, from Creator, that it was my responsibility to step outside of this cycle of mother wound. And so that really inspired me to reach out to my mom and say, hey, I'm still super, super angry at you, but I don't know, maybe something could happen here. And luckily, my mother was willing to meet me halfway at every point on this journey. And I had been doing some self-work, but I really hadn't been focused on anything at all. It was mostly just overall healing. So I hadn't been trying to heal from my mom, but doing the lodge really opened up this wound for me. And then a couple weeks later, I found out that I was pregnant. So I felt the accelerated pressure from the universe of now I'm going to be a mother. And I knew I was going to have a girl when I first found out I was pregnant. I just intuitively knew that because of the deep hole and wound of my own relationship with my mother, that I would be having a daughter. And so my mom and I started the road to mending. Part of this has been my responsibility to not attack my mom with my feelings and to very calmly explain my point of view and not expect her to understand it. It's taken grace on both of our parts to have conversations that are hard, complicated, and hurtful. And feelings have been hurt on both sides, and we have just tried to talk about it the best we can. And I think for me, one of the things that has changed the most in my perspective is seeing her as a human versus my mother. Because when I look at her from the lens of my mom, it's such an incredibly hurtful situation my entire life. But if I can step back and depersonalize the situation, and I can look at her as a fellow human trying to human, it opens up the doors of empathy, and I'm able to let go a little bit of my own resentment. This has taken a shitload of time, work, therapy, shadow work, meditation, all of the above. So I don't come on here to say lightly, just go talk to your mom, it'll be okay. It has taken kind of a perfect storm for both of us to come here. And a lot of work on my behalf to depersonalize the past. So as Mother's Day approaches, if you have a complicated relationship with your own mother and those feelings are coming up and you're feeling the stings of the past begin to rise, then I would encourage you to just sit with that part of self, which is much easier said than done. But not ignoring those wounds within is a huge process of healing them. Allowing yourself to crumble a little bit. If you struggle with a relationship with your mother, it's valid to be upset. It's valid to be hurt. And those feelings deserve time, space, and energy. And even though her and I have a better relationship these days than we classically have, it is still a very complicated holiday for me as a mother now, because I continue to reflect on the lack of whatever that I had in my own life. And that's when my job of shifting my perspective comes into play. This has been such a long video, but I love you, and I hope that if you are feeling the stings of mother wound come up in the next couple days, to tend to that feeling. And there's lots of free resources on my website, shadow work prompts, meditations, and I'm going to put out a new guided meditation tomorrow for you guys. Okay, love you, bye.